On my everlasting chase for money and views, I discovered a trend I have not exploited yet. Noob versus pro videos. So for today I decided to create 4 different under and overpowered weapons. The creation includes massive swords, RC planes, boomerangs and much more. So let's get into it. To obtain all the different weapons you actually need a special block first. Drop another star onto a crafting table to create a super OP/noob crafting machine thingy block. It basically allows you to input a certain item and randomly get a good or bad variation of it in return. That's also what the black-white cycle in the model represents. If you take a diamond sword for example and try to right click, nothing will happen at first. There's a very simple reason for that. You actually need to charge it up every time you want to use it. Doing so is very easy. Just drop a diamond onto the table and green particles will start to appear, indicating that it's now ready to be used. So if you want to obtain a pro weapon, you'll need to sacrifice another star and diamond and still have the chance of getting a crappy weapon instead, which is a fair trade-off I think. With that out of the way, let's input a diamond sword into the machine and see what happens. After a short transformation animation, the original sword will vanish and a new either good or bad sword appear at its place. In this case we got the pro sword, which not only looks fantastic, but it's also absolutely huge. To demonstrate its abilities, let's go and attack some innocent sheep. As you can see, I'm able to easily kill them with just one hit. And every time I damage an entity, there are these awesome looking fire particles around me. The sword is just as effective against mobs with larger health pools. The iron golem, one of the most durable entities in the game, only requires 4 hits to be killed. That's not all though. Let's say you're getting swarmed by thousands of enemies and you just can't deal with them all at the same time. If you right click the pro sword, you will perform a spin attack and launch all the mobs nearby into the air, killing or at least damaging them as they land. You might be thinking that this is super OP. Yeah, that's kind of the whole point. But if that's too much responsibility for you, there's also the noob sword, which you can randomly get from the special crafting table. If you are unlucky enough to have wasted your last diamond on the machine, you will be stuck with this noob sword. It looks completely terrible and is super small, and it has a not so convenient side effect to it. As you just saw, the player who uses the sword will take damage every time they attack someone, making the sword completely useless. Combining this weapon with the Curse of Binding enchantment could make for quite a mean prank. So if you have some noob friends deserving of some trolling, feel free to use this item to your advantage. Let's move on to the next weapon, the boomerang. After charging up the machine, input a stick and hope for the best. The new boomerang is pretty underwhelming. If you right click to throw it, you'll see exactly why. Its accuracy is really bad and it will never exactly return to you. Catching it mid-flight is still possible, but very hard to do. Additionally, it will drop whenever it hits a block. There's not even a real use to it except for maybe the entertainment of trying to predict the movement and catching it again. Since you guys are not here for lame items though, let's check out the pro boomerang now. This one is a whole lot bigger and looks much cooler too. You throw it just like the new boomerang by right clicking. It will however return to the exact position you launched it from, which makes the trajectory predictable and allows you to easily catch the boomerang again. The cool thing is that it will destroy all the blocks it passes through and bring you back the items. That means you can use it as a mining tool and obtain an insane amount of blocks in absolutely no time. It's also very effective against mobs and will damage all the entities it touches. So if you're looking for a weapon which includes a mining functionality, this item is for you. Before we get to the next weapon, I'd quickly like to thank my newest channel members and Patreon supporters, Gerikli Khan and Gwen Tan Nam. Sorry if I pronounced your names wrong by the way. If you want to get some exclusive previews, early access to videos, and a command block next to your name, you can click the join button underneath the video and become a channel member as well. But enough self-promotion for now, let's continue with the next weapon. Inputting an elytra into the crafting machine leads to a rather unconventional result. Just like before, the NOOB transformation is completely useless. The paper plane can be thrown using right click and will fly forward into the direction you look in. While it's in the air, you can change its direction by selecting different inventory slots. The fifth one makes it go straight, while the first slot, for example, leads to a left turn. The further the slot is away from the middle, the sharper the curve will be. So if you want to fly to a specific location, you can very precisely control where you're going. As soon as the airplane collides with the block though, it will vanish immediately. There's absolutely no reason to use this because the paper airplane just doesn't do anything, but as I said, it's a useless NOOB item. The Pro version is quite a bit more awesome though. If you're lucky enough, the machine will output an RC plane. Right clicking it launches it into the direction you're looking in. The difference is that you can control this plane from first person view. Not only that, but while you are flying, the plane can drop grenades by right clicking the item in your first inventory slot. There is a bit of a cooldown, but it's short enough so you can effectively destroy all the terrain underneath you. After a short time the plane will disappear and you will be teleported back to the position you started from. If you want to finish your flight earlier, you can always press shift to cancel it immediately. I really like this weapon since it's something quite different than a classic handheld one, and it can cause a lot of damage from a safe distance. If you don't feel very destructive today, you can also just use it to fly around and explore. And that brings us to the last weapon for today. Of course, I also had to do something with the bow. So if you use one on the crafting machine, it will transform into a special NOOB or Pro version. Both of them have to be charged up by holding right click. The moment you let go, an arrow will be shot forward. The NOOB arrows are quite underwhelming and travel at a not very impressive speed. When it collides with a block, it will be destroyed. If however you manage to hit a mob, which let me tell you is pretty darn difficult, it will even deal a little bit of damage. Weak mobs like cows, sheep or pig take about 3 hits to die. So if you're after some juicy meat or wool, you might be shooting for quite some time. The Pro bow is much cooler though. Its release mechanism works exactly the same, but your arrow will now be absolutely massive and travel much faster too. It can even go through blocks and instantly kills all the mobs it passes. If you have a lot of enemies conveniently lined up, this is your go-to weapon and will quite quickly end them all. You can even use this bow as a mining tool. Shooting it into the ground allows you to easily find some caves. Keep in mind though that the destroyed blocks do not drop, so make sure you don't erase some precious diamonds from their existence. That would truly be a shame. Once you are done playing with all the new weapons, you can of course remove the crafting machine again by destroying the block underneath it. And that concludes today's creation. I'm quite happy how it turned out and hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you have any other cool ideas for weapons or general tools I could add to this machine, leave a comment down below and maybe I'll make a second episode. The download link for this data and resource pack can be found in the description. For everyone who has never installed one of my creations before, here's a quick explanation on how to do it. From the download link on my website, you'll get a zip file containing the data and resource pack. Once you downloaded that, open Minecraft and go to your world overview. Select your world, press edit, and then open world folder. Now copy the data pack you downloaded earlier and paste it into the data packs folder of your world. Next off, go back 3 times until you reach .minecraft. Copy the resource pack from your downloads and paste it into the resource packs folder. Finally, open your world, activate the resource pack and you should be ready to go. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed, a positive rating would absolutely make my day. And if you didn't like it, let me know what I can improve in the future. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video.